Hey everybody, it's Irene from IreneLyon.com and welcome to this video. I'm actually somewhere where I've never shot a video for you. I'm in my office. This is where I see clients in person. Obviously, I also work with people over the phone and Skype, but when I come to work, this is where I work. I've got a table there and my desk and all that you need. But I was just thinking about something as I was coming in today, and that is around our need for external reward in order to accomplish something, in order to take on a project, in order to get finished with a course. Now, this is really hot on my mind right now because I'm about to go into the 7th week of my online new inner game 8-week nervous system reboot course, and I've got some really amazing folks in this course that are doing the work, interacting, engaging. There's people that are admitting that they're way behind, which is fine. I don't care if a person is behind as long as they are doing the work. Now, I know that there are people in the course that might not have done any of the work yet, and in some ways I'm okay with that too. That's their prerogative. And this isn't to call them out, this is just to call out something that we have created in our culture around work, around practice, around accomplishment. And it has to do with needing some kind of reward, some kind of pat on the back, some kind of acknowledgement, praise, whatever you want to call it. And it is something that we've been brought up in, especially if we were brought up in a school system where we had report cards. And you know, some of my friends would get money if they got an A. They'd get, you know, less money if they got a B. They'd get in trouble if they got a C or a C plus. I was one of those kids that got a lot of C pluses and a lot of C minuses, and luckily I had parents that were okay with that, and they didn't scold me or punish me when I had grades that weren't perfect. And I'm grateful for that because I've learned how to work, how to drive ahead, and not need some kind of external goal. Now, the reason I got thinking about this is I started to think, I'm like, oh goodness, all these people in my course that aren't being driven by a gold star or a prize at the end. And part of me as a teacher really wanted to provide that for them. But I actually wrote an email to them quite a few weeks ago saying, all of this material is on the test. In other words, in school, we ask our teacher, is this on the test? Do I have to study it? Because I'm not going to study it if it's not on the test. And we get into that mentality. And so I said to my folks, my participants, everything is on the test. What you are doing in the course is on the test. How you treat your children is on the test. How you decide to go for a walk in the morning or at night to take care of your body is part of the test. How you treat the checkout lady at the grocery store is on the test. How your thoughts run through your mind and whether you choose to feel them and go into a spiral with them or come back into the body and just sense maybe the discomfort that you might be feeling in a difficult situation. All of it is on the test. And I feel like I'm going in circles here, but there's this notion that we need to get reward for doing a job well done. Why should I bother doing this if I'm not being praised at the end? And it's so difficult to convey this when we haven't been brought up in a culture that rewards just being, just sensing our bodies, just making mistakes, not doing a perfectionist job, not being perfect, etc. Anyway, what I would love for you to consider is how you might need always a push or always some kind of reward to get a project done, maybe a deadline. And what is that? How is it possible to kind of muster the energy and the gumption and the passion from within as opposed to from the external? Of course, it's lovely when we create something and we have someone benefit from it, and give us a little, a comment on our Facebook or a thumbs up, and we feel that adrenaline, there's a rush to it. But what would it be like to post something and not get any likes or any comments or any praise? Would you still do it? Right? Would you still do it? So I'm going to leave you with that thought, and the thought that it is all on the test. It is all on the test. And those that choose to see that in that light, I think we could say that's some form of enlightenment. I don't know, but it's some form of awareness to just be cautious of and curious of as you go further in life, with your health, business, relationships, projects. Anyway, I hope this little pondering thought has been useful to you. Maybe it has sparked a questioning as to why it's hard for you to move forward on certain things, or perhaps you already practice this. Anyways, thanks for listening if you're still here, and if you're watching this anywhere else but my website, head over there right now, irenelyon.com. You can sign up for my free training, the 7 steps to de-stress, and you can learn a little bit more about how to get into the body and feel the internal state so that you can start being less dependent on these external rewards. Take good care. Have a great rest of your day.